science learners. Good day. I'm your science teacher for today, Teacher Nell. In previous discussion, we have discussed all about solution. When we say about solution, it is a homogeneous mixture composed of two or more substances. In today's video lesson, we will discuss all about quantitative concentrations of solution. To our dear grade 7 learners, welcome to our topic, quantitative concentrations of solution. The most essential learning competency for this lesson is to express concentrations of solutions quantitatively by preparing a different concentration of mixtures according to uses and availability of materials. This time, get your notebook and pen, and let us see how much you learn about concentrations of solution by answering the next 5 questions. Directions: choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answer in your notebook. Number 1. How do you increase the concentration of a solution? A. Add more solute. B. Add more solvent. C. Reduce amount of solute. D. Reduce amount of solvent. Number 2. What is the other term of a less concentrated solution? Letter A. Concentration. B. Dilute. C. Solvent. D. Volume. Number 3. Which solution is more concentrated? A. 0 gram of salt in 100 ml of water. Letter B. 5 grams of salt in 100 ml of water. Letter C. 10 grams of salt in 100 ml of water. Letter D. 25 grams of salt in 100 ml of water. Number 4. In a chemistry class, Gabi prepared a solution by mixing 25 grams of sugar in 80 grams of water. What are the concentrations of solute and solvent and percent by mass? A. Solute 34%. Solvent 60%. Letter B. Solute 14%. Solvent 86%. Letter C. Solute 24%. Solvent 76%. Letter D. Solute 44%. Solvent 56%. Number 5. What is the percentage concentration in the following solution? 5 grams of sucrose in 90 grams of water. A. 4%. B. 5%. C. 6%. D. 7%. Before we begin in our discussion, let us unlock the following terms used in this lesson. Concentration describes the relative amounts of solute and solvent in a given volume of a solution. Dilute, a solution which has a small amount of solute for a certain volume or solvent. Mass, the amount of matter or substance that makes an object. Volume, The quantity of three-dimensional space occupied by a solid, liquid, and gas. Do the next activity in order for us to know about concentrations of solution. This activity is entitled Describe Diluted and Concentrated. Procedure. Number 1. Watch and observe carefully the video about diluted and concentrated solutions. Number 2. Answer the guide questions that follow.
Prepared. There are two ways of preparing a dilute solution. Number 1. By adding solvent and keeping the amount of solute the same. For example, you have a solution of water and sugar. By adding more water and keeping the amount of sugar the same, you are making a dilute solution. It has more water and less sugar. Its color is light yellow. The second way of preparing a dilute solution is by reducing the amount of solute and keeping the amount of solvent the same. For example, the actual volume of water is 230 milliliter and the actual amount of sugar is 1 full of this small glass. If you want to make a dilute solution, you will reduce the amount of sugar and keep the amount of water the same. Instead of having more sugar, it has now less sugar because it has been reduced. It has less sugar and more water. Its color is light yellow. Solution. There are two ways of preparing concentrated solution. Number 1. By adding more solute and keeping the amount of solvent the same. For example, the actual volume of water is 200 milliliter and the actual amount of sugar is 1/8 of this small glass. If you want to make a concentrated solution, you will add more amount of sugar and keep the amount of water the same. Instead of having less sugar, it has now more sugar because it has been added. It has more sugar for water. Its color is dark brown. The second way of preparing the concentrated solution is by reducing the amount of solvent and keeping the amount of solute the same. For example, the actual volume of water is 200 milliliter and the actual amount of sugar is 1 full of this small glass. If you want to make a concentrated solution, you will reduce the amount of water. And keep the amount of sugar the same. Instead of having more water, it has now less water. It has less water and more sugar. Its color is dark brown.
Guide questions. Number 1. Describe the concentration of solutions qualitatively and quantitatively. Number 2. Differentiate concentrated from diluted solutions. Our grade 7 science learners, remember that we have 3 different types of solutions. We have the unsaturated, saturated, and the supersaturated. But this time, we will focus about concentration. When we see about concentration, it is the amount of solute that is dissolved in a solvent. Example of dilute solution: in a beaker, a 100 ml of water has 200 ml of solvent. So the result is it has a small amount of solute in comparison to the amount of solvent, and it has a lighter color. When we say about concentrated solution, in a 100 ml of water with 50 ml of solvent, it has a large amount of solute for a certain volume of solvent, and the result, it has a darker color. Let us distinguish qualitative and quantitative in a solution. Beaker number 1 and beaker number 2, the type of solutions for beaker number 1, it is diluted, and beaker number 2, it is concentrated. The quantitative is a 20 ml of solute in a 100 ml of solvent, that is for diluted or beaker number 1. And the qualitative, it describes as lighter color. In beaker number 2, the quantitative is a 50 ml of solute in a 100 ml of solvent. The qualitative describes it as darker color or dark color. When we say qualitative concentration of a solution, it is a way of describing the appearance of a solution mixtures. And when we say about quantitative concentration of a solution, it is a way of describing a solution mixture using standard value and absolute, measurable, and countable data. There are two ways of preparing dilute solution. First, by adding solvent and keeping the amount of the same solute. Second, by reducing the amount of solute and keeping the amount of the same solvent. And the ways of preparing concentrated solution: first, by adding more solute and keeping the amount of the same solvent. Second, by reducing the amount of solvent and keeping the amount of the same solute. Let us explore more activity on this lesson. Directions: fill in the missing terms from column A to column D of the table below. Column A are solutes, column B are solvents, column C are solutions, and column D are percent by mass or percent by volume. Use the following equations. Number 1, column A, solutes, plus column B, solvents, is equal to C, or solution. Number 2, column A, solute, divided by column C, solution, times 100% is equal to D, or percent by mass or volume. Take your time in answering the question and make sure you have a proper calculation. Answer the following guide questions in your notebook. Number 1, how do you calculate the percent by mass and percent by volume? Number 2, why is it important to know the concentration of a solution? Read carefully the definition of percent by volume and percent by mass and its equation and the table presented. Let's proceed to sample problem of percent by mass. Problem number 1. A 15 grams of sodium chloride was dissolved in 225 grams of water. What is the mass percent of sodium chloride in the solution? Remember, in solving the word problem, you have to write the given, what is required or asked in the problem, and the solution. So in our word problem, the given are the following: 15 grams of sodium chloride, which is our solute, 225 grams of water, which is our solvent. What are the requirement or what is asked in the problem. We have mass of solution and mass percent. So let's solve now the value of mass of solution and the mass of percent. So first, remember that the formula for mass of solution is equal to solute plus solvent, and the formula for mass percent is equal to mass over solute divided by mass of solution times 100%. So let's solve now for mass of solution. Our value for solute is 15 grams of sodium chloride, and our value of solvent, which is 225 grams of water. So 15 grams of sodium chloride plus 225 grams of water is equivalent to 240 grams, which is our mass of solution. Now, since mass of solution is available, we can find now the mass of percent. So remember, mass of percent is the mass of solute divided by the mass of solution times 100%. So let's get the value of mass of solute, which is 15 grams of sodium chloride, divided by the value of mass of solution, which is 240 grams, and times 100%. So the total mass percent is 6.25%. After you have to divide the 15 divided by 40 times 100%. So we get the value of 6.25% sodium chloride. Cancel the unit of measure, which is grams. Another example, number 2. What is the percent by mass of 5.0 grams of iron sulfate dissolved in 75.0 grams of water? So what are the given? We have 5.0 grams of iron sulfate, which is our solute, and 75 grams of water, which is our solvent. What is required? Mass of solution and mass percent. So let's find the value of mass of solution. We have mass of solution is equal to solute plus solvent. What is solute? In our problem, we have 5.0 gram of iron sulfate plus the solvent, which is 75 grams of water. 5.0 plus 75, we have total of 80 grams. The mass of solution is equal to 80 grams. Since we have the value of mass of solution, we can proceed to find the value of mass of percent. Remember that mass percent is equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution times 100%. So the value of mass of solute is 5.0 gram of iron sulfate, and the value of mass of solution is 80 grams times 100%. So 5.0 divided by 80 times 100%, we have 6.25% iron sulfate, which is our mass percent. Cancel the unit of measure, which is grams. Now let's move on to sample problem of percent by volume. Problem number 1. A volume of 80.0 milliliters of ethanol is mixed to 250 milliliters of water. Find the percent by volume. So given, we have 80.0 ml of ethanol, which is our solute, 250 ml of water, which is our solvent. Required, we have the volume of solution and percent by volume. So solution, we have the volume of solution is equal to solute plus solvent. So our solute is 80.0 ml of ethanol and our solvent is 250 ml of water. So 80 plus 250, we got 330 ml. So this is the volume of solution. Then since we have the value of volume of solution, we can proceed to find the value of percent by volume. So we have the formula, percent by volume is equal to volume of solute divided by volume of solution times 100%. Therefore, the value of volume of solute is 80.0 ml of ethanol divided by the value of volume of solution, which is 330 ml of water, times 100%. So 80 divided by 330 times 100%, we have 24% ethanol, which is our percent by volume. Another example, number 2. What is the percent by volume of a solution formed by adding 15 liters of acetone to 28 liters of water? Given 15 liters of acetone, our solute, and 28 liters of water, which is solvent. Remember class, it's easy for you to find the value or to know which is our solvent because remember that water is universal solvent. So the solute is the adding particles of the solvent. And what are the required or what is required in the problem? We have volume of solution and percent by volume. So let's solve now for the volume of solution. So our volume of solution is equal to solute plus solvent. Let's substitute the value of solute, which is 15 liters of acetone, plus the value of solvent, which is our water, 28 liters. Then 15 plus 28, we have 43 liters total, our volume of solution. Since we have the value of solution, we can find now the value of percent by volume. Remember the formula, percent by volume is equal to volume of solute divided by volume of solution times 100%. Let's substitute the value of volume of solute, which is 15 liters of acetone, divided by the volume of solution, which is 43 liters. Times 100%, total of 34.88% of acetone. You have to disregard the unit of measure, which is liters. Remember that labels of products sold often show the concentrations of solutes expressed as percent by volume or mass. For example, the alcohol used as disinfectant is a solution of 70% ethyl alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, meaning 70 ml alcohol. 70% solution of alcohol is good for disinfectant because it can kill 99.9% of germs and other viruses. Vinegar is often labeled as 5% acidity. What does it mean? This means that it contains 5 grams of acetic acid in 100 grams of vinegar. Pure gold is referred to as 24 carats. Jewelry that is said to be 18 carats contains 28 grams of gold for every 24 grams of the material. The remaining 6 grams consist of other metal like copper or silver. At this point, it's time for reflection. I have learned that I wish to ask my teacher about. Please submit your answers to your science teacher. To strengthen the knowledge what you have learned on this lesson, proceed to the next activity. Directions. Answer the following problems and show your solutions in your activity notebook. Number 1. What is the mass percent of each component in the mixture formed by adding 12 grams of calcium sulfate, 18 grams of sodium nitrate, and 25 grams of potassium chloride to 500 grams of water? Number 2. What is the percent per volume of a solution formed by mixing 25 milliliters of isopropanol with 45 milliliters of water? This time, let us assess what you have learned about concentrations of solution. Get your notebook and pen and answer the next questions. 1. Directions. Answer the following problem and show your solutions in your activity notebook. Number 1. A solution is made by adding 25 milliliters of ethanol to 80 milliliters of water. What is the percent by volume of ethanol? Number 2. A solution is made by dissolving 125 grams of sodium chloride in 1000 grams of water. What is the percent by mass? Task 2. Directions. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answer in your notebook. Number 1. What is the other term of a less concentrated solution? A. Concentration, B. Dilute, C. Solvent, D. Volume. Number 2. What is the percentage concentration in the following solution? 5 grams of sucrose in 90 grams of water. A. 4%, B. 5%, C. 6%, D. 7%. Number 3. In a chemistry class, Gabi prepared a solution by mixing 25 grams of sugar in 80 grams of water. What are the concentrations of solute and solvent in percent by mass? A. Solute 34%, solvent 60%. B. Solute 14%, solvent 86%. Letter C. Solute 24%, solvent 76%. Letter D. Solute 44%, solvent 56%. Number 4. Which solution is more concentrated? A. 0 grams of solute in 100 ml of water. B. 5 grams of solute in 100 ml of water. C. 10 grams of salt in 100 ml of water. D. 25 grams of salt in 100 ml of water. Number 5. How do you increase the concentration of a solution? A. Add more solute. B. Add more solvent. C. Reduce the amount of solute. D. Reduce the amount of solvent. Congratulations, grade 7 learners! You have done an amazing job in completing this video lesson. I hope you have learned new things today. Until next time, again, I'm Teacher Nell, your science teacher for today.